What's up, entrepreneurs? You have the solution to a problem, but if the people who need that solution still aren't buying, it's because they don't believe you. So how can you get your ideal customers to believe you, buy what you're offering, and improve their lives? First, everybody has false beliefs wrapped in limiting stories, and the only way to break those false beliefs is by wrapping the truth in a better story. And the way to do that is through story hacking. Story hackers take the most powerful stories from the past, hack the formulas, and apply it to their businesses for profits and impact. I'm Dave Anderson, and my goal is to turn every funnel hacker and every entrepreneur into an expert storyteller using the power of story hacking. That's what this podcast is all about. And remember, guys, your story isn't finished. Hey guys, welcome to the show. Today I'm going to talk about the story that rules all emotions. I'm going to talk about how focusing on the past is ruining your future and the future of your business, because you can't really have a great business if you're not doing great, right? And we're going to talk about how what you focus on in the present moment actually creates your future. With that said, let's get into it. Your thoughts cannot exist on a higher level than your emotions, meaning you can't think about something like success in any believable way when you're depressed or angry or sad or fearful or resentful or frustrated. And story is the key to regulating first your thoughts and therefore your emotions. It's your emotional level that will determine your thinking, so that's the root. That's the thing we need to get to first. So for example, if you're asking yourself the question, how can I have success? How can I accomplish this big goal? The answers you get back will be based on your emotional level. If you have self-limiting beliefs, you won't even see the opportunities that come right in front of you. So before you can use your thinking like that and get back any good answers, you have to use your thinking first to raise your emotional level. You guys getting this? I hope this is making sense. If it's not making sense yet, it will in a moment. Once you raise your emotional level, you can actually ask yourself questions like that, like, how can I get this goal, or how can I accomplish this, or how can I have success? Once you raise your emotional level, you can ask yourself questions like that and then actually get back good answers. If you're in the wrong emotional state, you're not going to get back good answers. So you have to raise your emotional level first. So repetition is the key. Repetition is the key to understanding. So I'm going to be repeating things that are important and also asking you guys to participate. If you participate, then you retain information 80% better. Even if I don't hear it, I can feel it. And it's more for you than it is for me. I mean, I can't hear you, so it doesn't really help my ego, but it does help you. So when I ask you guys a question, are you going to yell back the answer? Even if I can't hear you, say yes. I felt a lot of yeses out there. I felt some yeses. I couldn't hear it, but I felt it. So back to the point. When it comes to raising your emotional level, it's important to note that the stories you tell yourself are the cause of every emotion inside of you. If your emotions are based on negative thoughts and stories from the past, then you're recreating the past in the present moment. And it's your thoughts in the present moment that are creating your future. Stop telling yourself negative stories from the past and start telling yourself a better story about the future. You can actually create your own story about the future in reality. I know that might sound weird, but the story that you tell yourself about yourself is the roadmap to creating your own reality. I'll say that one more time. The story that you tell yourself about yourself is the roadmap to creating your own reality. Why is that? Well, when I say you can create your own story in real life, I'm not talking about being delusional. I'm not talking about making up your own story. I'm talking about focus, because what you focus on is what you get. So what you focus on will become your reality. What you focus on, what you think, and what you feel, these are all tied together and all based on the stories you're telling yourself. If that doesn't make sense yet, it will. Just let me keep going here. When race car drivers are about to crash, when they're about to crash into the wall and they're trying to steer away from the wall, they're told, don't look at the wall. Look in the direction you want to go, because that is the direction your brain and your body will follow. So that's all about where you're focusing on. You focus on the wall, you move towards the wall. You want to get away from the wall, you focus away from the wall. If you're walking and you focus your attention to the left, you'll eventually start moving to the left. If you focus your attention to the right, you'll start moving to the right. If you want to go straight ahead, you should focus your attention straight ahead, right? The most profound truth is usually very simple because, of course, focusing your attention straight ahead will get you to the destination that's straight ahead. So whatever stories you're telling yourself about yourself, those are the stories you're focusing on. That's the direction you're headed. That is the reality you are creating. So why would you tell yourself negative stories from the past unless you want to attract more of that? Remember, where attention goes, energy flows. Say it with me. Where attention goes, energy flows. So focus on the solutions. Say, I will focus on solutions. I heard it. I felt it. I didn't hear it, but I felt it. And when you focus on solutions, then you can tell yourself positive stories about the future based on those solutions that you're putting in place right now in the present moment. So repeat after me one more time. The stories I'm telling myself right now are creating my future. If you say it to yourself, you will remember it better than if I say it to you. So I want you to say it to yourself. The stories I'm telling myself right now are creating my future. So the first way to take control of your story, and therefore your life, is by focusing on solutions in the present, not problems from the past. The second way to create a better story and move towards the future you actually want is by using that inner knowing I said you already have. I said you already know on an emotional level how a successful story should go. You like the stories that go right and you dislike the stories that go wrong. Just think about the books and the movies you like. You might not always know why, you just do. Well, I'm giving you the formula to bring this from the emotional brain where you don't have any access into the thinking. You don't have any access into it. Let me say that again. I'm giving you the formula to bring this from the emotional brain where you don't have any access into the thinking brain so you can control it. If you want to take control of this process, let me hear you say yes. Let me feel you say yes. If you really want to absorb this, you have to participate. So on the count of three, one more time. 1, 2, 3, yes! The way to take control of your future is by using the simple formula I told you about before. Whenever you don't know what to do, ask yourself, what would the hero do next? And that's what we're going to talk about in the next podcast. But for now, let's sum up this podcast. This is about focus. Guard your thoughts in the present moment. The past is gone. The future is a fantasy. The only thing that's real is the present moment. And the good news is you can take the lessons from the past to help you come up with solutions to focus on in the present moment. And that will create the future you want. And that's the main point. When you wake up in the morning, don't start thinking about problems of the past. Focus on solutions in the present moment because it's the present moment that's creating your future. And your focus is creating your present moment. All right, guys. In the next podcast, I'm going to give you even more secrets about focus, and we'll get into the secrets of the hero's journey and how it applies to you as an entrepreneur. I really hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Please go to storyhackinghero.com/askme and leave a voicemail if you have any questions. When you do that, I'm also going to put you on a waiting list for something special that I'm working on. If you want to take this to the next level and become an expert story seller using the power of story hacking. I was really excited to release something immediately, when I first started my podcast. And I've decided that I'm going to use this podcast to build up momentum and have a proper launch. I don't want to just release it immediately. I think I was a little bit overexcited about that. I want this launch schedule to be based on your excitement, not just mine. You know what I mean? So if you're interested in that, but you don't have a question, just go over to storyhackinghero.com/askme, the same URL, and I'll put you on the waiting list even if you don't ask a question. And let me know when you guys would like to see some deep dive training on this type of material. Do you want it right now? Are you excited for it at this very moment? Because if you are, I need to know about that. And this is only for people who want to take it to the next level and accelerate the process of becoming an expert story hacker. So make sure you leave your best email, one that you check all the time. If you're using Gmail, make sure you drag the email from your promotions folder over to the primary folder. That way you can see it more easily. It won't be lumped in there with all the other spam that you get. So take care, guys. I can't wait to hear all of your questions and see you on the waiting list. And remember, guys, your story isn't finished. What's up, guys? First, I just want to say that I read every single 5-star review. So the biggest favor you can do for me right now is go to iTunes and review this podcast. 5-star reviews tell Apple they should show this podcast to other entrepreneurs just like you. And when you spread story hacking, you're spreading solutions that are making the world better. This is something I want us to do together as story hackers. So go to iTunes and tell me how story hacking is improving your business and your life. And one more thing. I want you to ask me your number one question about this podcast episode or any other episode. You can even leave me a voice message question and I'll play it on the podcast and give you a shout out. That way everybody can know you're a story hacker and a real part of this community. So go ahead and check the link in the description for that. So thanks so much for the reviews, guys, and keep a lookout for your shout out when I play your question on the podcast. And remember, guys, your story isn't finished.